Well, to start it off, I'm sure you've got a lot of backlash on it.
Actually,
right?
I'm very surprised.
Did you get like really bad backlash, or did you get like simple
I only
backlash?
had like 2 people who were like not okay with my video.
Which was the person in question?
The alleged person.
Uh-huh.
And a member of their family, you can say. But I have had an outstanding support from this. Like, it was
that's
crazy.
good.
I had a lot of women DM me, message me, like text me. And I feel so bad because people were like, hey, I was being chismosa, or like they're being nosy. And it's like, no, you're not being nosy. Like, I put this out on the internet. Like, this is for everybody to know.
Educational purposes.
Yeah.
Too, yeah.
So the purpose of this was not to like, like shit on him or anything, because unfortunately, like, I have children with him.
Yeah.
Like, this is, for me, this was more like of a healing experience, because I don't want another woman to go through this. I don't want another woman to like be like, oh, I'm stuck, I can't get out. And like, I got out because I was blessed that I have a good support system. I got out for my kids. I didn't want my daughters growing up and seeing their mother miserable, and seeing their mother like basically hate life, and then feel like this is life. Like, there's no happiness, like there's no real shot of it, And that's the reason why I got out. I got out because I didn't want my daughters to feel like they're stuck somewhere and there's no way out, And that's the main reason why I like wanted to put this out there, because I want women to be like strong enough to know that, what, like, it may take some time, but you can get out.
Right.
And it unfortunately took some really like life or death situation scenarios to like make me realize that life is short. Like, with the loss of my aunt and uncle, like, life was short. I never expected that. Like, my parents had retirement plans with them, and they were like another set of grandparents to my kids. So like, that situation happening made me realize life is short, and I could literally die at any moment. And what am I going to show for it? Like, my kids are going to be like, well, my mom hated life. My mom was so unhappy. Like, that was not a happy marriage. Like, that could even traumatize, because I've heard people who have had parents that stood together and bickered and like had an unhappy marriage, and those kids grow up and they say like, well, my family was like dysfunctional, very unhappy marriage. I never want to get married. I never want to have kids. I never want to do X, Y, and Z. And I think that's sad, and I don't want to rob that from my daughters.
Okay. All right. I respect two things here. One, I do respect the parents that stuck it out and like really did it for their kids, but I also have to really sit there and just kind of like look at the kids and give them some respect too, because they went through that, and then they looked at it in a different. Some people might look at it as like they stuck it out, they're good. Some might take it the other way and say, hey, I'm going to stick it out with my partner through thick and thin, and some might not, right? Some might look at it as you're saying, but there are parents like that will stick it out for their kids, and then once they get older, I think the most common trend is once they hit college and they go away or they go wherever they're going, they kind of split. Because at that point, the kids are out of the house, and then they're like, all right, well, now.
But that's also detrimental to the children, because
that's true.
They're experiencing a whole new life far away, and now they feel like, oh, snap, I can't lean back on my parents for support because my parents split.
Right. Yeah,
and they're going through it, and then it's kind of like, who do I pick sides here?
Right.
When you painted a perfect picture. And like, I'm not going to paint a perfect picture. Like, I know I'm not the perfect person, but I tried.
Right.
I tried everything I could to salvage my family.
Right.
I talked to him. I told him, I need you to change X, Y, and Z. I'm tired. I need you to like step it up. And if he didn't want to, or whatever his thought process of that was his decision. I did what I could in my end to let him know that I'm not happy, and I need you to make X, Y, and Z changes for us to be happy. And if he couldn't meet those expectations, I wasn't going to stick around either.
Right.
I wasn't going to stick around and show my daughters that you had to be in a loveless marriage. Because, like, honestly, I feel bad. Like, he had prior children. And my thought process was, like, I don't want those children to feel excluded because they're not biologically my children when I want to give the best to my children.
Right.
So my thought process for this was, I need you to step it up for your children to have equal as my children, because I can't pull all 4 children by myself.
Right.
I couldn't do it. It was like it's not like I'm getting like a sick job or like I'm a self-made millionaire type of thing, because I'm pretty sure the circumstances would have been different.
Right.
But like at that point, I know what I wanted to give my daughters. I spent 8 summers in Peru visiting family, traveling. I've been to Machu Picchu. I've been to different states. Like I've done a lot of things, and I had a lot of experiences that my parents were able to provide through their hard work, and I want to do the same for my kids. My daughters have been to Peru. And hopefully if things go right, my daughters will be in Puerto Vallarta next year. And that's what I want to do for my children. But I didn't want to shut his other 2 kids down because they're not biologically my kids.
Right.
Because I knew I couldn't provide, and I didn't want to do that because I didn't want those children to start like
Resenting
hating
you in a way.
or resenting me or resenting my children.
Right.
Because they're going to be like, oh, well, she doesn't care about us because we're not her children. And it's like, no, it's not that. It's like financially, I could only do so much. And if I couldn't get the help from my partner who already came with his children, which I accepted, it was like at that point, it was kind of like, well, my hands are tied.
Right.
It's not fair if I'm going to book a whole vacation and say, sorry, your kids can't come because I can't afford it.
Yeah, that would kind of sting a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah, a
So
little bit
how
of
was that
resentment would build,
fair?
Yeah.
Like that would have not been fair to those girls because those girls were innocent. They were
Right.
children. So that's why I knew I started to grow resentment towards him because I had to limit my things with my children to be able to be equal to all 4 kids.
Damn, that's tough, dude. If you really sit there and think about it, that's tough because you're looking out for his and you're looking out for yours, and you're pretty much looking out for the family unit, which is a big thing, right? Big
Right.
step.